Hey guys, Mr. Womack here. We're going to cover a natural science passage and some techniques to use on it. This one is called The Jaws That Jump. It's from the 72C practice book that ACT released. So you need to have that in front of you. You should have gotten a copy from me. So we're going to go to natural science, and natural science is the last passage. It doesn't mean you have to do it last, but it's the last passage in reading. So you've been in the testing room for a while, you've had your break, you're at the end of the reading test, and you get to natural science. You may or may not have time to finish that one. So all the reading test questions fall into two categories: reference and inference, and the natural science is the far end over here of reference. So prose fiction is inference. We did another passage with prose fiction. So this is very much the answers are in the passage. You can find them. There's not a whole lot of deep consideration. Three techniques you can use on natural science. You can read an answer, and if you're fast enough to do that, to get through the entire passage and read it and to get through the questions, 100% that's what you should do. That's your best chance to get the most answers correct. Google Summary, used in two ways. If you're going a little faster than you're comfortable, you're skimrehending, right? Skimming to comprehend, skimrehending. And you're writing down one or two words. Google Summary, right? Think about what you type into Google. It's always one or two search words about what you just read. And the last one is map and answer. Map and answer is one that actually works pretty well on natural science. It's a shortcut, there's no doubt, and you will probably have one or two questions that you miss by doing it, but it's a good technique to have if you get to the end of the test and you only have 6 minutes left as opposed to 8.5 minutes. Then mapping and answering is a good direction to go. So we're going to get into this passage, Jaws that Jump. So this is the passage. So mapping is going to be just reading the topic sentence of each paragraph and any target sentences. We'll talk about what that means. So let's start with step one, map the passage. Read the title, The Jaws That Jump. ACT will occasionally give questions about the title, like when it was published. It's rare, but they've done it before. So first sentence, recently I was reminded of just how powerful ants can be when inflicting damage on intruders. Underline that passage, get an idea of what it's about. Powerful ants inflicting damage on intruders. I'm going to read the last sentence of the first paragraph always as well. The team clocked the bite. Okay, now we know how they're inflicting damage. The bite as the fastest on the planet, and discovered that it also gives the ants the unique ability to jump with their jaws, adding to an impressive array of already known defenses. Next topic sentence, the next paragraph. Trap ants nest in leaf litter rather than underground or in mounds. Okay, so they nest a little different than what we're used to. The key to the jaw's speed and their even more amazing acceleration is that the release comes from stored energy produced by the strong but slow muscles of the jaw. Okay, so that's the technique, how it works. Fisher, Suarez, and other field biologists had already noted that catching obari was like grabbing for popping popcorn, and very hot popcorn at that, because a painful sting goes with an ant's trap jaw bite. Okay, so they're hard to catch and they hurt when they bite. In the so-called escape jump, an ant orients its head and jaws perpendicular to the ground, then slams its face straight down. Okay, that's another mechanism it has, I guess. The second kind of jaw-propelled locomotion, so second kind, so let's go back. The first kind is this, right? The second kind is a jaw-propelled locomotion is even more common than escape jumping. I'm going to keep reading because I want to know what the second is. If an intruder enters the nest, one ant bangs its jaw against the intruder, which triggers the trap jaw and propels the interloper, if small enough, in one direction, out of the nest, and the ant in the other. See, this to me is a targeted sentence because it said the second kind. I need to understand what that is because it explains it. Okay. From an evolutionary point of view, the trap jaws are an intriguing story. The ants clearly evolved an entirely new function, propulsion, for a system that was already useful, chewing up prey. So I have a pretty decent idea of what this is about, and we map the passage and cut the reading dramatically, cut the time to read that dramatically. We have a decent idea of what it's about. So step two is going to be we're going to map the questions. Mapping the questions isn't necessary always, but I find a lot of students um, benefit from putting the questions back in order. ACT mixes them all up. So 31, the primary purpose of the passage is. So purpose questions go to the end. So we're going to put it down here at the bottom, 31. 32, the sentence in lines 73 to 75. So we're going to put a 32 beside 73 to 75. There we go. Added the numbers. So 32 beside 73 to 75. 33 is as used in line 81. So I can put a 33 beside line 81 over here. All right, nope, over here. Here, there we are. The passage makes clear the main source of the speed of the trap jaw. Okay, speed, we talked about in this third paragraph. 35, the author uses analogy of popcorn. Okay, popcorn was up here. 36, purpose of the last paragraph down here. 37, as it is used in line 31. So let's put that right by line 31. 38 makes the following characteristic with trap jaw ants' mandibles prevents the ants from harming themselves. I don't remember where that was covered, so we're going to put that at the end. As described in the passage, one benefit of the escape jump, right? Escape jump is here, and a bouncer defense jump that is here. Okay, so we got them mapped pretty well. I think that between the reading, right, the reading and mapping, now the questions should be decently easy to approach. So step two, we're going to answer, or step three, answer the questions in the order you mapped them. Let's fix that. Yeah, that looks better. Step three, answer the questions in the order you mapped them. Okay, 34, the passage makes clear that the main source of the speed of the jaws, the trap jaw ant, is the, okay, so we mapped that here around line 25. The key to the jaw speed and amazing acceleration is the release that comes from stored energy produced by strong but slow muscles. So that's going to be release of energy stored by the muscles, J. 37, as it is used in line 31, the word domain. Okay, we marked this line 31. The biomechanics of energy storage is the domain of Sheila Patik and Joseph Bio, both biochemists at the University of California. So that's their area of expertise, right? They're experts. So B. The number 35. We're doing these in order they appear in the passage, remember. The author uses the analogy of trying to grab popcorn as it pops in order to describe the trap jaw ant's ability. Okay, so that was here. It's like grabbing for popping popcorn and very hot popcorn because a painful sting goes with an ant's bite. The insects bounced around in a dizzying frenzy, propelled themselves many times the length of their body. Nothing about generating heat, nothing about moving to higher ground. The only thing that's there is they bounce around frantically. So D. 39, as described in the passage, one benefit of the trap jaw's ant escape jump is it allows the ant to. Okay, so this one's kind of tricky. So we know where we marked it. Is it going to land in a position, confuse the predator, signal to other ants, or point itself in which direction it chooses to escape? So we got to find where this is. The trigger that cocked the mandibles, release the force 400 times the body weight, launches it into the air. It doesn't go in any particular direction, but it's fast enough to help the insect evade a probing tongue of a lizard. Not only can the jumping ant gain height and so confusion, okay, but it may also get to a new vantage point from which to release an attack. So we got to be careful here because choice B says confuse a predator with a quick sting. It doesn't sting to sow confusion. It sows confusion with its jump. So what it does is it lands in a new position to launch an attack. So A. 40, when a trap jaw ant uses the bouncer defense jump, we mark that, bouncer defense jump, effectively on an intruder, which creature, if any, will be repelled either out of the nest or in another direction? If an intruder enters the nest, one of the ants bangs its jaw against the intruder, which triggers the trap jaw and propels the intruder in one direction out of the nest and the ant the other. You got to finish reading the entire sentence and you get the attacking ant and the intruder both. 32, the sentence in lines 73 to 75 and the last sentence. Okay, so 73 to 75. In the wild, gangs of defending ants team up to attack hostile strangers, sending them head over heels out of the nest. Okay, head over heels, that's a little informal. Okay, so we're going to go with a bit of informality. Let's go to the last sentence. Such a serendipitous event would have been a rare instant in which banging one's head against the ground got good results. So again, kind of informal, a little bit humorous maybe. So sarcasm into a mostly casual and playful article. The article is not casual and playful, so it can't be F. Lighthearted tone, primarily technical article. Yes, probably. Slightly combative tone, no, nothing combative. Personal anecdote, no, it has to be G. So process elimination gets to that one pretty easy. Probably could have gotten that one without even going back to the reading, actually, if you had a decent idea, because you know it's not a casual and playful article. It doesn't praise just two scientists' work, and it's not mostly data. So that was the one you probably didn't even have to go to the text for. As it is used in lines 81 to 82, the phrase well-defended prey. Okay, well-defended prey. Notice this word before it, penetrate. That means it's cutting through something. So it's going to have a hard outer shell. Okay, so penetrate. And 36, the main purpose of the last paragraph is to suggest that unlike the bouncer defense jump, the trap jaw ant's escape jump may have arisen through. Well, luckily we just read this, right? A serendipitous event would be a rare instant, an accidental kind of behavior. So we read that when we said we didn't have to read. Let's go back a few. So we didn't have to read the question, but by reading, we didn't have to go to the text, but by going to the text, we've made it easier to answer this next question because that's where the answer is, right? So it's an accidental behavior, a serendipitous event. Serendipitous is kind of a lucky event, and accidental says right before it, so H. 38, this is one that it's hard to do with mapping. So I don't remember reading anywhere about the passage pointing to where the following characteristics of chapter ants' mandibles prevents the ants from harming themselves with a powerful bite. So what you can do is skim the text and find the word mandible, because you're just going to talk about it. And you find it two places. You find it in the first column, which isn't going to give you the answer. It's in the second column, and it says, they also observed the mandibles started to decelerate before they meet, possibly to avoid self-inflicted damage. So that's a tricky one if you're mapping. Is J, it's right there in the text, but it doesn't work as well with mapping. 31, primary purpose of the passage. So now we have a pretty good idea of what the purpose is. Provide an overview of the mechanics and key operations of the jaws of trap jaw ants. Absolutely, has to be A. B, techniques of filming, nope. Comparison, the evolution of a trap jaw ant perform escape jump. That's just a paragraph in the passage. So A is the only one that works. Here's what my test looks like when I'm done. Mine's pretty organized, but I organized it for you. If I'm taking the actual test, it's probably a little bit less neat than this one. Let's go back and review one more time. Mapping and answering is a technique that works for natural science. You could also, if you're running short on time, just go straight to the questions. If you only have 3 minutes left, and you've checked all your answers, you feel you're comfortable with the other passages, then just go to the questions that have line references and do those. And that's one technique you can use on natural science as well. So mapping and answering works. Google summary and answer works. Read and answer works. It all depends on your speed and ability to comprehend, because the goal is to get the maximum number of correct answers. So good luck. Let me know if you have questions.